Thank you so much for watching this online video tutorial. Like, comment, and share, as well as subscribe to our channel at Good Better Best Online Videos for more video content.
Hi there everybody. Today we are going to be doing arithmetic series. When we deal with series, it's the sum of. So we did arithmetic sequences where it's the actual pattern, and now we are going to do the sum of the pattern, and that's called arithmetic series, right? So let's just quickly revise. We know the formula for the pattern, the arithmetic sequence is Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1d. But when we deal with the sum of formula, we have two options. We have Sn is equal to n over 2, and then 2a plus n minus 1d. And then the second formula is Sn is equal to n over 2 times a plus l. Now Sn refers to sum of, n is the number of terms, and l is the last term, right? A is still your first term, and d is still your difference. Let's look at our first example. It says find the sum of the first 12 terms of the arithmetic series 2, 5, and 8. So we see that our first term is 2, our difference is 3, and they told us that there were 12 terms. What we are going to do is we ask ourselves the question, are we going to substitute into the first formula, or are we going to substitute into the second formula? The second formula, we require the last term. We don't have the last term, so we are going to be using the first formula. And so here we have n over 2, in brackets we have 2a plus n minus 1d. We substitute all of this information. 12 over 2, 2 times 2 plus n minus 1, so it's 12 minus 1 times our difference of 3, and we have 6 times 37, which is equal to 222. Let's look at our second example. Our second example says find the sum of the arithmetic series of 20 terms with T1. Our first term is equal to 0, 5, and the last term is equal to 2, 4. Now in this case, we can use the second formula. Why? Because we have the first term and we have the last term. So we see that our n value is 20 because there are 20 terms, and then we have a first term of 0, 5 and a last term of 2, 4. We substitute everything into the formula, and the sum of the 20 terms is equal to 29. Let's look at example 3. How many terms are there in the arithmetic series, and what is the sum of the series? So the series is 2, 5, 8 up until 62. Remember I told you before that when they give us the last term, that is the Tn value. So what we're going to do in a case like this is we're going to say a is equal to 2 and d is equal to 3. That's our difference. And we are going to substitute that 62 in the left-hand side of our formula. So Tn is equal to, and what do we have here? 2 plus n minus 1 times 3. And all we do is simplify, okay? We simplify and we see that n is equal to 21. So there are 21 terms in the sequence. Now, if we were to continue to work out the sum of the sequence, we are going to substitute that information. So what's our first term? What's our last term? Our first term is 2, our last term is 62, and so it would be 21 divided by 2 times 64, and that gives us 672. Now guys, you know that there are always more complex examples. So let's look at example 4. How many terms of the arithmetic series 34, 40? I see I left one out. Should be 34, 40, and 46. Let me add that. That's your third term. We'll add up to 1,530. So what are they giving you? They're telling you what it adds up to. That's your Sn value. What's our A? It's 34. What's our D? It is 6. So we obviously need to find out how many terms of the series will add up to 1,530. So what we are going to do is we are going to say Sn is equal to n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. Why are we not using the second formula? Because we don't have our last value. We have our Sn value, but we don't have our last value. So we're going to substitute that in there, 1,530, and then we are going to substitute what we know. What we don't know is what n is. So we cannot substitute that. However, we have our first term of 34, we have our difference of 6. And what we are going to do is simplify. And we're going to say 6 times n is 6n, 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Of course, we simplify the bracket. And what does that leave us with? N over 2 times 62 plus 6n. Now, if we multiply n, that times that, and also times that, what that gives us is 31n plus 3n squared. And what we do is we simplify. We have 3n squared plus 31n. Let's take that over and it becomes negative 1,530. You know that that's a quadratic equation and that we need to factorize the quadratic equation. That gives us 3n plus 85. N times n minus 18 is equal to 0. And we apply our zero product rule. If this bracket times that bracket is 0, then either this bracket must be equal to 0 or the second bracket must be equal to 0. And that gives me 3n plus 85 is equal to 0, or n minus 18 is equal to 0, giving me a value of n is equal to 18, or 3n is equal to negative 85. Sorry, we divide by 3 on both sides, and n is equal to negative 85 over 3, or n is equal to 18. However, the number of terms cannot be negative, and it cannot be a fraction. So our answer must be n is equal to 18. That's the end of our lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Please share, comment, subscribe, and encourage your friends to watch with you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.